Welcome back to another episode of The Real Deal with Empire. I'm your host, Ali Fawaz, and today we're thrilled to have a special guest, Amin, who not only excels as a real estate agent, but also brings his expertise from his engineering role at General Motors. In today's episode, we're going to dive deep into the challenges that new agents face, especially when it comes to the support that they receive from the brokerage, and the importance of embracing the digital tools in today's market. So let's get started. I mean, can you share a little bit about your journey in the world of real estate and what drew you into this industry, given your particular background in engineering?
Yes. So the idea of me joining real estate started with when I actually was looking for a house. When I started looking for a house, I had kind of my list was too long, or I thought it was too long. I had too many checkpoints that I wanted to meet in my dream house. And I was hoping to whoever I was going to work with, they will accommodate all these or help me find them. They definitely did, but I thought I would do a better job. This is where I was like, I feel like there is definitely a room for improvement in this industry. And then also taking my background in engineering as an industrial engineer, what we do is we figure out systems. And when we study the systems, we figure out how we can make continuous improvement methods, where we continually always look for room of improvements because there will always be.
Yep.
So that's what drew me to start this journey.
That's interesting, which I think you're definitely onto something there, right? Everybody, in my opinion, I think everybody should be searching for perfection, but you know that perfection is unattainable.
Correct.
But part of the journey is always trying to improve yourself, trying to reach the unattainable, which just means you continue to sharpen your skills, right?
That's what drives actually innovation, because innovation is technically you're making nothing out of something.
Right.
So it's like, or something out of nothing. It's like making it up out of thin air. This is where innovation came from. So it's like you're continuously trying to improve the system to where you get to a point you're like, this thing we don't have. Let's try to make something up to answer that question we're trying to answer.
Yeah. And a lot of times it stems from typically experiences that one might have, and maybe in a scenario like yours, you're going through the process and the journey of trying to find your home and what you need for that. And I think in that journey, maybe you may identify, hey, there's some gaps in this process, and it sounds like maybe you in that journey you identified some of those gaps that you wish you would have had there.
You hit the nail right on the head. So what you need first. So when you start looking for a house or you're in the process of figuring out what you want, you have your needs and you have your wants, and they're mixed up in your head. And then the further you start looking into this journey, you will start splitting. Okay, that is something I need, and those are the things that I want, and which ones I am willing to give up versus... Because, everything is restrained within a specific threshold, right?
Yep.
You have to give up the location for the money, or you have to give up the number of rooms or the location, or something has to be going away. So which one's on the top of your priority list, and what are the things that you need versus you want?
Yeah, and so a lot of that happens, and this is a very typical in the world of sales, in a sales cycle. That beginning stage, before you should do anything, you should be going through what's called discovery.
Yeah.
And that's where you're identifying from your prospect or your client what their needs are, why those are their needs, what are the existing gaps, what solution do they have in place today, why are they using that solution today, why are they looking for another solution, right? So same thing can apply to somebody who's looking for a home.
Exactly.
Do you currently own, or are you renting your home? Why are you considering owning now? What kind of a home are you looking for? How big is your family? Is your family growing? So, and I think in today's world, unfortunately, we're so fast paced that some will skip that entire process or almost try to project onto the individual what they think that they need without properly doing that intake of discovery and going through the motion of all the questions to really understand what the client actually needs?
Well, this is where I believe your professional help comes in from your brokerage firm or your professional person, your realtor. This is where this is where they're supposed to fill that gap out. This is what you kind of like hire them and look for them for.
Yep.
Because again, in engineering, my study was industrial manufacturing and systems engineering. So the systems it plays that role in that. So the system is you sitting down from an outside point of view, and then you look at the system and you can start identifying the gaps. Mm-hmm. And then the system itself is first, again, identifying their wants, their needs for them, right? For example, I had a client, they were looking to buy a house, and also they have their location constraint, and then the different variables, and then they had needed the number of rooms and number of bedrooms and the layout and everything, right? And then it came down to what is more important for you. And both of them work from home, and they both they had meetings. All they said they needed 2 offices. They wanted to have 4 bathrooms. But we found a house, had 3 bathrooms. The layout was great. Everything was good. So there was a potential for improvement. So that was the pill that it came down to. This is the pill that you have to swallow.
Yeah.
The location was good. You got what you needed. So This is where you help them. It's fast paced, and they can be fast paced. You need to not be fast paced.
Yeah.
For the sake
for their sake.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced as a new agent in terms of support from your brokerage?
So it comes down to, the idea of the training is where you get thrown in the pool right away, which is fine. But at the same time, where am I on that pool? So
are you in the deep end or are you in the shallow
exactly.
end?
So I start getting my training. Oh, here's how you complete the contracts, and here's how you write up this, and sure. But the overall spectrum, where does this lay down in, like, am I learning contracts for this? Because before there's that. So the thing that I feel like always missing is the client
interaction, or
client customer relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And it's more than the technical stuff. I feel like it's not that hard as much as the soft skills, and the soft skills are not out there as much, where we don't dedicate much for soft skills. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about us personally, I'm talking about the industry overall.
As a whole.
Yeah. They don't focus on soft skills as much.
Yeah, I'd say I think it's obviously there's going to be some variance from one brokerage to the next, but in general, it's something that I've been seeing quite a bit of, especially when we do recruiting and so on. And the common theme has been that sink or swim type of mentality, or that sink or swim, whether it's intentional or not. Because frankly, some places that is their intent, is let's weed out people. We're going to bring on as many agents as possible, and we're going to let them weed themselves out. How? By throwing them into the deep end, and those who sink just filtered themselves out. Those who swam figured it out on their own.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, those who are sinking, some of them are diamonds in the rough that just needed a little extra hand holding to help them in that process, right? To hone their skills, to help them. I think something you had referenced made me think immediately to connecting the dots, right? So you're learning a component here, great, but I don't understand where this fits into the whole scheme of the entire picture, right? Are you helping that individual connect those dots so they understand why they're doing what they're doing?
Yeah.
Make sense of what they're doing in relation to the client, in relation to the experience that they're trying to help their customer or their client with, right? Because again, it is a journey for that client. Help them tell that story along that journey, or paint the picture of that journey for them.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. It comes from kind of a natural selection method, right? It's let's figure out who's the best. The problem with that is figuring out who's the best also includes experience. So if you don't have much experience, but you have the base to build on that experience, like you do have the soft skills. You like for me, I deal a lot with numbers. I deal a lot with Excel sheets. I know how to put data together in order for me to help a specific client make a fully informative decision, which is what I personally believe is the most important thing. Is like I'll lay down all the information for you. You can make your decision, or you can ask me what is my opinion, and I'll tell you, oh, here's my decision, and I'll tell you why. Because this number is stating that this is like based on actual numbers and facts. That's what me personally, I'm good at.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I can definitely, evolve that and put it together into the real estate world. But if that was to happen to me and I got thrown and then got mashed up, I was going to get mashed up eventually, right? I figured out how to jump out of the pool and walk around and then try again.
Right.
Some people don't. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So maybe you're losing on good talent somewhere that is out there just because of trying that method. Therefore, the method itself is not the greatest.
No, I guess in that kind of a scenario, you're right. In that case, it's not the greatest. Especially if you're losing good talent, or in some sense, it's not necessarily how you failed, it's how did you get back up and try again. And some people might just become disheartened and feel like, well, they don't have the support needed, so they're not going to attempt anymore.
Yeah.
And then they just decide, let me move on to a different industry.
Again, and this is a loss for everybody, because the stronger companies are built with stronger teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we have a good team, generally the industries look at it as like me versus the other.
Right.
As a buyer, I'm versus the other buyer, or me as a real estate agent versus the other agents. Well, the mentality, I believe, like we should be teaming up. Not even on like all the buyers, but like these groups of buyers will team up, so we don't keep over betting on each other. What are your wants? What are your needs? And then this could be achieved through agents' relationship with one another.
Well, it is all about relationships, right?
Yeah.
And so, especially within an industry that you're going to be interacting with one another throughout the industry, it only makes sense to build those relationships versus looking at it like it's a competitor, right? There's enough business out there for everybody.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that there's so much of the scarcity mentality that's out there in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely needs again another system filtration where you put it in the system, you study where the gaps are, and then you work on continuous improvement of that specific system. Yeah.
Yep. So shifting gears slightly into technology. Right. To you, how important do you think it is for a modern brokerage to embrace digital tools and different platforms? And why do you think some legacy brokers are struggling to keep up with digital trends that are happening as they relate to the industry, and they're just not adapting to those things? Why do you think that might be?
So the reason for that is I believe a lot of people see technology as only marketing, or it's only social media. Oh, how many followers do you have on Instagram? How many followers do you have on Facebook? This is not technology. This is part of it, but this is not the whole thing.
Right.
This might be the face of it. There's a lot of places that they have softwares and they have AI integrated stuff, and they have general strong softwares that are tough to learn, that are like dedicated for this brokerage, and then you need to sit down and figure out that it's not as easy.
Right.
And then after they do all that, and after they buy these softwares and train people on them and whatnot, this is when the real development start to happen. It's supporting the natural organic growth of the roots inside the company, instead of just putting up nice flowers. Oh, look at me! I'm selling that many houses and buying that many houses. Congratulations to my customer who's next. You're telling nothing about yourself. And then they do that over and over and over, and they think Instagram is technology.
So therefore, they're just checking a box and moving on.
Exactly. They're not working with it I feel like it's not working with full integrity.
Right.
Towards fulfilling that box correctly. The checking that box. You post it on Instagram and Facebook. That's not the check. The check is, getting deeper into what technology is. The more dedicated, softwares to help build a natural, organic customer relationship with the brokerage.
And to me, when you say that, immediately I start thinking of, platforms, the website, the CRM system, and how are these all plugged into each other? How are they connecting and integrating? Are you driving traffic and leads, or awareness, driving that into a landing page experience where you're able to cultivate that customer and potentially get them to submit a lead and route that lead to you the right way and things like that. So there is definitely a lot more to it. I think you're definitely onto something where a lot of agents or brokerages may just simply feel like, oh, well, yeah, we do social media.
Yeah.
And so therefore we're doing technical. Well, what's your CRM platform look like? Mm-hmm. Okay. Suddenly there's a big pause.
Most likely they don't even know what that stands for.
Okay. That's very possible.
Yeah.
That's customer relationship management.
Yep.
Just in case you guys didn't know. And your CRM is essentially what houses your customer base, right? Your prospects, anybody that you're talking to. And so you have an idea of the conversations you've had with them, and then what the next steps potentially would be, if you're going to phone them, if you're going to text them, if you're going to send them an email. And you can track all those steps, right? And so unfortunately, I think you're right. There are a lot of places who haven't caught up to even that, which I would think is a basic blocking and tackling component.
It's basic. It's like literally the base. I know business owners that they have like a burger place and like a small burger joint. They do have CRM where their marketing team extracts the data from that, who are the bases, who is mostly watching our videos, and then from there we'll do let me do the funny videos bringing me more attention, or is it this shot of this video, what are the customers want? Because at the end of the day, it's always the customer is always right, because kind of like everybody goes into the mentality is like, I'm gonna be my own manager. No, you won't be. The customer will be your manager. That's always the case. You are driven by competition. It's like basic economy ethics. It's like you're driven by competition. You're driven by what the customers want. If you put something, if you put a product, or if you put a service out there that the people won't like, well, guess what? You're going to be out of business soon.
Yeah.
And then that's where the organic growth comes in. It's like your CRM would bring you the data where you can help when your marketing team is making a video, you're making the right video. Not just you thinking, the next door or the business on that street, they did that video. Now this is the good thing for me.
Back to where you originally started your conversation on collecting data, analyzing the data, and then interpreting that data, and then formulating next steps based on what you learned from the data.
Correct.
And I think you're right. That is sorely missed in many brokerages. Are there any particular digital tools that have been game changers for you in your real estate career?
I so far have used a couple of CRMs. They're not completely up to what I would like them to be. So I haven't yet found one that I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And maybe there isn't one. I'm starting to think. It's more like try to work out the best of what you have.
So what I've seen so far has been some platforms are stronger in one area, and others have stronger capabilities in another area, but then they're weaker in this. So it's almost like you've got to pick your poison. What is the solution that you want? Where are you willing to sacrifice a little bit until somebody comes along and says, let me build an all-in-one CRM that also can be, X, Y, Z for an agent also and at the end of the day, the purpose of that is to save time so that you're not wasting time sitting in your CRM all day long just looking at that, because frankly, if you're spending time doing that, that means you're not on phones, you're not meeting with people, you're not engaging with the client. And that's where you need a solution set that kind of encompasses everything and shortens the length of time that you need to go between your email, your text messages, your CRM platform, the website.
Yeah.
How do you bring it all into one place?
So I personally believe this problem is somewhat impossible to solve. And here's why. The reason is there is only one you, and there is only 24 hours a day, and you need to sleep about 8 of them. So there isn't much time out there, right? And when you do that, you want to pay close attention to the people that you value the most, which are like your current customers. You want to give them the most of your time and your attention. And then at the same time, on your free time, you'll go back to your CRM and try to get more stuff, to get more, more leads and more business out there. And then when all that starts getting interconnected together, this is when you have not much time left. This is when you're like, it's back to the same thing. What are you sacrificing? Are you sacrificing location? Or are you sacrificing, number of bedrooms? Now, am I sacrificing the people that I have now or the people that I potentially would have in the future? So it's a dilemma. That's why I believe you're going to always have to keep sacrificing something. So it's like in a waves, right? It's like, oh, I'm busy right now. I have that many customers going on. I'm going to give them my full focus attention. And then the emails and the calls and everything else that will come back on a different time. Yeah.
Let's jump into some ethics.
All right.
So one thing that I've seen in the business is agents who intentionally either underprice or overprice homes just to either get a quick offers to come in, right? Or to appease the seller, right? And it might win them a listing, but it can really do some damage and hurt their client in the long run.
Agreed.
So with that, have you ever had to push back on a client or let's say on a seller's unrealistic pricing expectations? And how did you actually handle that while still keeping the relationship strong?
So it always comes down to data, right? When we do a competitive market analysis, CMR, when we do that, it'll show you what this is and what it could be. And then there are slight, ever small adjustments that could be done because the houses are not the same. Every single house has a little bit more characteristics than the others. One is finished nicer, one has a slightly bigger basement than the people around it. So the CMR is not like the
CMA, sorry.
So the CMA, yeah. The CMA is not like the god of all numbers. It's not like the definite number, but it's
sure.
You take it and you start with that base point. But here's where the actual experience comes from. And then you come back and you're like, this basement is 10% bigger. And then you adjust the number. And the number it gives you a final price per finished square foot.
Right.
And then you say, oh, this one has one less bedroom, or one less bathroom. Well, bathroom square foot is worth more than a living space square foot. So, and then from there you go and you go on with these adjustments, and you'll get like you'll get a better, more precise number, but it's still like a ballparky number. And then when that happened, I did actually interact with it was a neighbor of ours, and he wanted to sell his house. And then, oh, what do you think my house is worth? And then, a good number of people, they don't want to deal with numbers. They don't want to know what the data is. They just would like you to give them a nice number, right?
Right.
I gave him a nice number, and then he was nice enough to me to tell me, hey, I called somebody else and he gave me a higher number. And I was like, hey, well, your house is worth $1 million. Come sell it with me. It's not going to sell.
Right.
He will post your house for, X number of money. And then you are going to wait. And you're going to wait for 23 days, 27 days. And then your next payment is coming up. And then you're sitting there and all nervous. And then somebody's going to throw you a low ball. And then you're going to get So you're having less actually people coming to see your house. You're having less chance. And then if you underprice it, you're going to have everybody coming now. And it's so many. And then somebody's going to come in and they're interested, but they're going to be like, nope, it's going to be so many people competing over this. I don't even want to bother. That's why it's always nice to hit the number as close as possible to the actual how much the house is worth. And then you do it through data. And then when I showed him the data, I told him, here's where we came from.
Right.
And I showed him it. And then I showed him the analysis itself. And then and he was like, you know what? I like you. I'm like, thanks.
So basically what I'm hearing you say is that you're not playing to their ego. You're giving them the hard facts, telling them the hard truths as they are.
Yeah.
You're not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
And here's the backup, showing them, here's how I did my homework, essentially, right? Yeah. Here's the breakdown of the math. This is how we came to where we are today. I didn't just pull a number out of thin air because I knew you'd like to hear that number. And I knew if I let you hear that number, you would list with me.
Yeah.
But then once you list, essentially what you're saying is, if we listed it at $1 million, you're happy now. Yeah. But in 2 weeks from now, when you get nobody calling, you're going to be upset at that.
Exactly. It's like, it's the same thing. Are you go to the gym or are you going to eat that bag of the chips? Right now, you'd like to eat the bag of chips. It feels better. And go to the gym. Does it feel better right away? But overall, the long run, it'll make you feel better. You'll get better results overall. Right. And then this is where it comes from. And then when you start showing them the harsh truth, right? And then they kind of start understanding the thing that I'm trying to hit to begin with is do not appeal to emotion, right? Yeah. Which it is a logical fallacy when you have a debate with somebody and be like, oh, you're appealing to emotion right now. Because I don't want to appeal to your emotion because I easily could. And I told them that. I told them, I can easily get you emotionally involved, right? This is when this is what I recommend when you start seeing somebody that is feeding your emotions much and you're not getting much information. You feel like you're kind of in the vague, but he makes you feel good. Yeah. Run.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good advice. Yeah. That is. So in these conversations, have you had... Because they could tend to be tough conversations sometimes, especially if it's somebody who's really set on, well, I really want to list it for $1 million.
Whatever you want at the end, because everything would come out not as a set in stone, as a recommendation, right? Mm-hmm. So here's what I recommend you doing, and here's why I recommend it. You take that info, you let me know. I also do that with my buyers too. Sometimes we go to a house and they'll tell me, oh, well, I like this house because 1, 2, 3. I know your needs. I just will present it to you because sometimes because of how many things you're thinking of or how many houses you've seen or how many agents you've talked to, right. You'll start, the information would start, the old information that was valuable, it starts getting old in your head. This is where I come in and I revive it. And I'll tell them, hey, you needed 1, 2, 3, and 4. You remember? Well, here's what this house that is worth more is offering you, but the other house that is worth less is also offering you more stuff that is to your need. In other sense, I'm hurting my commission for this house right now, right? Because this house is cheaper. Right. But on the long run, I have a happy customer who lived in that house, will remain to live in this house, and they'll be like, this guy was right. This guy was right.
Yeah, I think within the industry, there's too many people who maybe will sacrifice that ethical behavior of, am I doing what's in the best interest of my client, or, well, I want to sell them this more expensive house because I'm going to get a bigger commission check, right? And so there are some people, unfortunately, that might go down that path, and that's quick money. Those are the people who don't tend to last in the industry very long. Definitely. They will burn out and they will be exposed eventually. Yep.
That's what unfortunately happens. People think that I'm going to sell this house and then, I'm going to get money out of it and whatever. But you have to understand, we are in an industry that will serve you, or it have served you, and it will serve your loved ones, and it will serve your kids, and it will serve everybody around you. Everybody is going to buy a house and sell a house at a time in their life. Everybody. That's why if you make it into that not much of an ethical place anymore,
right,
and you start poisoning the well, and you're like, I want to get more money out of this sale, whatever. You might succeed once or twice, but you're going to be rolled out of the business very soon, which is great. I would like those people to be rolled out because this is an unethical behavior.
Right.
If somebody's making a very important, somebody's living in that house. They will be people will start making memory. Kids will be born in the house and grow up in that house. You can't do that over what?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, in comparison, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move into our rapid fire round. And here I've got some quick questions for you.
Let me set my
before
rapid
we
fire.
wrap. Are you ready for it? Yes. Get prepared. Coffee or tea to get you through those long real estate days?
Well, interesting question. Where I originally come from, we drink something called mate or yerba mate. In English, it's called mate. In Arabic, it's called mate. So it's a plant that grows up mainly in South American regions. It's a big leaf. They smoke it. They crush it. It does look a little bit green. It tastes. If you were to have a kid between matcha and green tea, that's what it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's a form of caffeine that is a slow release type of caffeine, so it's not rapid. So my recommendation for the agents out there, study the types of caffeine. If you have 8 showings, drink mate. If you have 3 showings, drink coffee.
That is interesting. I like that. And where can they find it at?
In most Arabic stores, they're everywhere now. Yeah, it has gotten a lot of popularity very recently. So
yeah. That wasn't one of the options, but we're gonna accept it.
Okay, but hey, let's go back to the question: coffee or tea? Tea.
I was just messing with you, but next question.
Yes.
What's the funniest thing that's happened to you during a house showing?
A frozen log box once.
Ooh.
So I went to this. It was a warehouse, and it was like one of my first showings, right? And then I'm trying, and it was my first time meeting that client. And this is where I also recommend meeting your clients prior to your first showing. Don't just boom, get them there. Sit down with them, get their understanding, write them down, study, go home and be like, okay, they need 1, 2, 3, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, do your homework.
Yep.
It's kind of also baked in the ethical homework at the same time. It's get a feeling of what they want. But I just met that guy. When I just started, and he wanted a warehouse. We showed up there, and and I showed up 15 minutes early, right? Turn on the lights and do your thing. And I put the code in, and I'm like, this box is not opening. And it's not opening, and I don't know if it's frozen or not, but it looked like it's good. And I called the listing agent. I'm like, hey, and I'm panicking. And the guy showed up, and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do now? And I'm like, okay, at the end, I grabbed water and I start pouring on it, and then poured, and then I opened up. So it was funny. It's we're just pouring in, and I kind of knew the guy, so he's also hey man, you want me to go get you hot water? I'm like, oh no, I got it. I'm trying to be professional and stuff. It's
It sounded like you handled it well, and you got through it, which is good.
Yeah, thankfully.
Final question: if you could have any superpower to help you in real estate, what would it be?
Teleport.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely teleport.
Save on miles.
It's not just that. It's the only thing that it gets me always is we have so much construction going on around. So every time we go from one place to another, and I'm like, I got out 15 minutes before the time, and then I am barely making it on time. So now it's next time you gotta go out 20. So I'm like, I wish I can just boom, I'm there.
I like that. I think I would probably want to leverage that as well.
Yeah, you have a showing in Grand Rapids.
Nice.
Boom.
Suddenly your coverage area is much larger.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll even go see the house without you before, and then I'll go and be like, I don't think this is good for my customer. Boom, next one.
And truth be told, that strategy of going out there first, or even even just getting out there 15 minutes before you're showing it to your client, just to go, and you mentioned turning on the lights, doing all that. You said it as if it's a common practice, which it should be a common practice.
Yeah.
Too many agents don't even do that. They will show up at the same time, and sometimes after their client shows up to the property. Yeah. Then they're opening the door. Then they're walking into the rooms, flicking on lights and saying, "Oh, this room looks nice. You mean you haven't walked this property already and you're showing it to me?" Yeah. That's what would be going through my head if I was the client.
So it's something called the best practice. Yep. Best practice is where this is the ideal thing that you should do, but it also means this is the standard. So it's like very extremely recommended that you do such a thing. You could not do it.
Yeah, but I would say it's like you said. I think that's the bare minimum you should be doing.
Yeah, you could not do it, but then I'm gonna take your clients then.
And that's where natural selection is.
Yeah, happening. Not like
those people start weeding themselves out of the industry.
Not like me personally, but I'm just saying in general, somebody else who is doing a better job than you will eventually take your business. Yeah.
Well, this has been another episode. Thank you so much for joining us on this insightful and fun episode of The Real Deal with Empire. We hope that you found Amin and his information very insightful and valuable and entertaining as well as we did. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, like it, thumbs up it, share it with your friends. Why don't you tell our audience and our listeners how can they get a hold of you if they want to reach you?
Well, they can look me up through the website of Empire, and at the same time, they will have my Instagram somewhere so they can reach out to me.
Is it like showing up right there?
Right here.
Make sure you stay tuned for our next episode, and until then, keep it real with Empire. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.